Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. It's time for Taroscopes again. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Leo. That's Leo Sun, Leo Moon, or Leo Rising. And I'm going to be using the Light Seer's Tarot to do the reading. But before we get to that, let's take a look at a little bit of astrology. Now, Leo is a sun-ruled sign, so where the sun sits is important for the Leo. Of course, the sun, as the month starts, the sun is in Pisces. For Leo, Pisces is the 8th house. It's the house where, in a way, we feel most vulnerable. The 8th house is the house where we have the death of the ego. Never a fun time for Leo, which happens to be the pinnacle of ego, the pinnacle of personal will to a certain extent. And then, of course, once the sun moves into Aries, it moves into the 9th house where it's much more comfortable. We have a lot of things moving in. We have a lot of things in Aries, and we have a lot of things moving into Aries. We have a Jupiter Chiron conjunction in Aries that'll happen in your 9th house. And this is about an expansion of healing of the wound. And for you, Leo, it can be around issues of social justice, or it can be a re-injuring or re-wounding. So we have to make sure that we utilize the energy of Jupiter in Aries to help to heal it, as opposed to help to precipitate the wound or re-wounding. We also have Venus moving into Aries. And hold on, is it Venus moving into Aries? Or Venus is in Aries as we start? I believe Venus is in Aries. We do have Mercury moving into Aries, the sun moving into Aries, a new moon in Aries, a lot of energy, new energy in Aries. And that's something that happens every year when the personal planets move through Aries, when the sun goes into Aries and the like. Jupiter and Chiron doesn't happen all the time, doesn't happen every year. That's more of a timing cycle. In fact, that conjunction only occurs about every 14 years. So it's the start of a new cycle so it's an opportunity really to heal some of the social justice issues for the Leo. But then we have Saturn moving into Pisces. Now, Saturn moving into Pisces means that it's moving into your 8th house. And so the issues there again, this is where we come to understand where we're powerless to change things and where we have to accept things sometimes that we don't necessarily want to accept. It's about dying to the old and being reborn to the new in the 8th house. And Saturn in Pisces is going to point out perhaps where you self-undo yourself when it comes to your relationships, especially relationships where you share your resources with other people. Sometimes Leo can be very, very generous as a sign, but they can also utilize that generosity to sort of make people obligated to them. And so you might find that those things come up for you while Saturn's in Pisces. And that's going to go for about 3 years. So it's a long process. And then the longest process, of course, is Pluto moving into Aquarius, which is the sign of your opposite sign. So there is some challenges ahead where we're going to become face to face with things that are more powerful than us. And so Leo but that is another long-term cycle. And in point of fact, as Pluto moves into Aquarius, the polarity point or the direction of evolution for the world soul is actually in Leo. So this is the best time really for your light to shine, no matter who's giving you flack. It'll be a learning experience for all of us. Okay, let's take a look and see what the cards have to say. And then I'm going to pull a oracle card from the Spirit of the Wheel deck, which has been pretty, with the other readings I've done, been pretty well aligned with what the initial reading says. So it's sort of like a period at the end of the sentence. So you are on your way. You are moving. Now, you could be physically moving this month, but you're definitely moving on your path. This is your soul's path. The Chariot is about the path of the soul. It's taking on the armor of the personality to do the work of the soul. It is an incarnation, what you came here to do energy. And the interesting thing about it is that 2023 is a 7 vibration. And this is the card for the whole year, the Chariot card. Why are you here? What are you here to do? This is a great year to have a reading, whether it be an astrological reading or a Kabbalah reading, because it does give you a direction. It does give you a direction. Now, you may already know the direction and you're on it, or you may hope you know the direction and you're wondering. So if you're wondering, that might even be more of an opportune time. Okay, so the challenge is there is a cycle coming to an end. There is a cycle coming to an end. So as you move forward, there are things that are going to have to end. And some of them are going to be things where we're like, yes, and others maybe not so much. But it should not dissuade you from your forward motion. At the root of it, we have the Hermit card. This movement forward is based on a lot of pondering and connecting to your spirit. It's been a long, hard road. It will continue for a little while. You see the road to the Hermit is a steep one. And so this movement forward that you're doing is based on some real work on yourself. You've done the work. The work is being done. So this moving forward is not, you're not jumping the gun here. You're right on time. Let's see what's in the past. There was a karmic situation that needed to be balanced. You have balanced the scales. So it's sort of like you're on a new trajectory, really, because whatever obligation or karmic obligation that you had in the past is now over. Let's see what's in the sky. Anxiety. This is an anxious time. Now, this could be your anxiety or it could be generalized anxiety out in the world. You may not be anxious. You may not allow what's going on in the outer world to disrupt your Zen, but it's out there. And there are a lot of people who are anxious and a lot of people waiting for you to shine your light to help out. But if you are anxious, understand that that anxiety is a mental thing. If you move into your heart, you'll move out of that anxiety. And of course, Leo is ruled by the heart, so it's a safe place. Over the next month, you're going to get a view of what holds you back. What holds you back? Where do you feel tied up? Where do you feel like you're either can't be heard, not being heard? Are these crows taking the ties away, or are they tying you up? Right? And we can see that this person is actually looking in the mirror. This is a mirror. This is her reality. She's not tied up, but in the mirror she is. So that's very interesting. But it is about utilizing your intuition to move forward. So the road may not be clear. You can see this woman has a blindfold on. So the road ahead may not be clear. You have to trust your intuition to get you where you need to go. You're not going to necessarily get a map. You're not going to get a Google map that says this is your next step. You're going to have to utilize your own inner Google map which is your intuition to move forward and to overcome the fear that you have that you're going to make a mistake. You're not going to make a mistake. Well, you might make a mistake, but it's not going to be as treacherous as you think. How other people see you, tapped in. The Eight of Wands is a lot of information. Maybe you have too much information. Maybe you overwhelm people with your brilliance. But people see that you have a handle on what's going on and an understanding that maybe other people don't. Your domestic situation, be the emperor in your domestic situation. Have dominion over your situation. You are kings and queens are generally powerful cards, but the emperor and the empress are the most powerful cards when it comes to ruling. So you are ruling your environs. And people know it. People know you're in charge. Large and in charge. Hopes and fears, we have the Knight of Wands. I always feel like this is you're hoping for a good party. And who isn't? Who isn't? I am. I have a Leo rising. Know any good parties? Drumming, dancing, bringing up the energy, raising that's what we need. We need some some drum beating parties here. Let's see the outcome for May. Okay, so we have heartbreak. This is a really difficult card to look at. And we can see that, while everything looks really good, there's quite a bit of challenges coming up. So you're not going to be out of the woods when it comes to loss, but you're going to have to move forward anyway. You're going to have to move forward anyway. The thing about the Three of Swords is the Three of Swords, while painful, will often break apart any kind of resistance or any kind of sense of being held back by other people, even though it's painful. It's like it frees you on some level. Let's see if we can get a major arcana. We have the Four of Cups, divine discontent. You weren't that happy anyway. The Nine of Wands, vigilant, boundaries. And the Eight of Cups, moving away from something that no longer fulfills your soul. So there is loss here, but it's all in, it really is all in service to you standing up for yourself and finding your happiness where your happiness lies. Let's see what's underneath it. We have the King of Swords. This is action taken after with great wisdom. Action taken with great wisdom. The Two of Pentacles, balancing the books to a certain extent. And your card, guys, the Sun, illumination. Things are being illuminated. So quite an interesting read, I would say. There are challenges ahead, but it is nothing you can't manage. And ultimately, it's exactly what you need. So you're on the move. You're definitely on the move, and you're moving in the right direction, despite the fact that there may be a few little painful bumps in the road. Usually, mostly about around relationship. You may have to forego a relationship because that relationship pulls you back from being on your path. Okay, very good. Let's take a look at the Spirit of the Wheel and see if that agrees with the reading. I don't have a lot of space here, which is my own fault because I have like things everywhere. I don't ever give myself enough space, I think. Honestly. Maybe I take up too much of it. I like to have everything in arm's reach, which means that my morning coffee is here, my water is here, my cards are here, my charts are here, and my little cubby. For those of you who wonder where I sit, this is actually a little desk area in my upstairs bedroom. It's really cozy. It's a little cold sometimes, And it faces the northeast, which is good feng shui if you're trying to teach things. Right? It's like the education sector. It's also the metal sector of your house. So I like teaching from this place. We'll see. Once the weather gets nice, I'll get back down to the office and you'll have something else to look at besides that. All right, what do we got? Spiritual connection, completion, and wisdom. 9, Wabus. Wabus. This is the second time I picked this card. So somebody, so there's another sign that got this. So if you happen to have both those signs, that would be interesting. All right, I'll read it to you and I'll put it up so you can see it. These cards are beautiful. These cards are by Linda Ewashina, Ewashina, Spirit of the Wheel. This deck found me when I was in Portland, Oregon. It fell off it just, like fell in the head. And I'll be like, oh, I guess that's what I have to get. So, all right. A time of great knowledge is upon you. You will have a newfound sense of purpose and inner confidence about yourself and your abilities. This confidence does not come from a place of ego. Instead, it has developed over time with patience and inner work on the part of the seeker. That was the Hermit card at the root of the reading, and the Chariot saying that you're on your path, right? The North card represents a sense of acceptance of your gifts and a willingness to share them with others. The season of the North is winter, suggesting that you have reached some form of completion, bringing you to a place of peace. That was Libra. That was the Justice card in the past position. You have finished a karmic cycle, and the balance has been made. Your connection to the divine continues to grow, and the spiritual aspects of your life take on new meaning. Synchronicity, prayer work, meditation, appreciation of nature, compassion, and wise counsel are aspects of the North card. Purification occurs subtly within through the invisible thread that connects us to the network of creation. The state of enlightenment takes on the colors of the rainbow warrior. Learn to accept the difference between receiving information and receiving wisdom. And here's your prayer. Spirit powers of the North, let me recognize the wisdom and the honor of touching the sacred space. Help me to have the courage and conviction to wear the colors of the rainbow warrior. Purify my body, mind, and spirit through my connection to Creator. There you go, Leo. The world is your oyster, and it's time to shug it. All right, takes a little practice though, doesn't it? Takes a little practice to shug it. All right, have yourself a wonderful month. Be careful out there. There's going to be a lot of people who are not very stable, and this is not a very stable time. So keep your eyes open when you're out in the world, and keep your heart open to what needs your heart to be open to. And together we will create a better tomorrow. We will. Okay, guys, take care. Much love. See you next month. Oh, and one other announcement. I'm doing an introduction course to Kabbalah and the Tree of Life. If you're interested, there's a link below. It's going to be happening on Monday nights, about 90 minutes for 6 consecutive Monday nights. You don't have to be in the class to get the class. You just have to register for it, and I send you all the information along with the recording of the class. So if it's not a time that works into your schedule, but you want to learn about it, you can. Okay, guys, take care. Much love. Namaste.